December 31st, 2024. Word of the year: inspiration. This year was without a doubt one of the worst and most challenging years of my life. But with the amount of angel numbers I saw, I knew I wasn't alone. Because I saw them everywhere, and I felt like that had to mean something. The year at least started out pretty great. Shane and I flew to Austin, Texas to celebrate New Year's. We got cowboy hats and watched the fireworks over the river. It was one of the coolest New Year's I've ever had. We took several city bus tours and explored Austin's museums. My personal favorite was Wonder Spaces. They had a display where visitors would write private notes to people they love or who have hurt them, and then would stick them in a wall for the public to read. It was beautiful. Shane and I also ended up getting matching cowboy tattoos in tribute of such a great trip. The rest of January was spent editing my New Year's recap, FaceTimes with Finley, and fancy work dinners. But then, the first event of my not-so-great year happened. I can't really get into it, and nor do I want to. But someone close to me did something really bad to me. I had to cut them out of my life completely. I was emotionally sick over it. I wasn't eating or drinking and ended up having to go to the ER for a checkup and fluids. It was hard navigating a new hospital, but I have a great support system. Just a few days later, at the start of February, Shane flew to LA for a week to be there for me. I don't think he's ever gonna know how much that meant. I love you, bruv. During Shane's stay and after recovering, there was a 15-hour electricity blackout in most of LA. But we kept our spirits high.
Pluty, can you say this is bullshit?
With flashlights, candles, and a generator, we hung out with Pluto in my apartment and had a paint night in the dark with Hallie. Later that week, we went to Jane's birthday, a party in downtown, and had dinner multiple times at my favorite restaurant, Saikai. There, we found out it was shutting down for good just 1 month later. My heart was broken. To Jamin and Sandy, thanks for all the great food and memories. Before Shane left, my friend Kayla from Ohio surprised me last minute that she was coming to LA for the first time. She signed my apartment wall, we ordered vegan food from Kevin Hart's restaurant, and we went to the Santa Monica Pier the next day so she could touch the Pacific Ocean for the first time. At the end of the month, I flew to Orlando for my traditional stay with my grandparents for the third time in a row. It did not disappoint. We went to Cocoa Beach, ate fried alligator for the first time, and I treated my grandparents for a sunset boat ride. In March, I attended several fun themed birthday parties. Kelsey threw a murder mystery party where we all dressed up, wore masks, and played a real-life game of Clue. We had to ask each other prompted questions to figure out who the killer was, which happened to be me.
I did it!
I knew it!
Jess had a private birthday movie premiere for her amazing film Galatea, and donuts were included. For Natalie, the party theme was leather, and we all had mustaches for Megan's. Unfortunately, at the end of the month, I got some more bad news. My company's video team, including myself, were all getting laid off. It was bittersweet, because it was a great chapter of my life, but yet I was also excited for new opportunities and adventures. So the job hunt began. April was jam-packed, including a 420 brunch and watching my friend Tanya perform in the Drowsy Chaperone.
Champagne makes me drowsy. It's really happening. Truly happening.
And even Brooke came to Los Angeles to visit. We drank mixed drinks in the hot tub, walked around my neighborhood, and watched Shrek on repeat. Literally on repeat. At the end of April, I had one of the wildest weekends of my life in Las Vegas with Carly, Betsy, and Harry. Carly scored a free hotel room through her job, so all I had to do was fly there. We went to Fremont Street and won big.
Yikes.
Rode on a party bus and hit the clubs. Attended a pool party and a Ludacris concert. And as if one free hotel room wasn't enough, a high roller couple who wasn't using their suite at the Cosmo gave us theirs. It had this crazy view of the Bellagio fountain and was bigger than my own apartment. It was a trip of a lifetime. The first few months of May were chill. Mainly a lot more of applying, walks with Allie, and journaling. Then I got on a flight to stay for a week back home. I spent the first weekend in Pittsburgh with Shane. We played bingo, met up with friends at the bars, and I got to meet his new cat Mabel. I also hung out with Katie, who dropped a bombshell on me.
So I brought you here because I wanted to give you something.
Really?
Yeah.
You wouldn't want me to do that? You want me to do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you sure?
She asked me to officiate her and her fiancé Joe's wedding in late 2025. And I said yes.
Absolutely.
I love Katie, and I'm beyond honored and surprised that she'd want me to be a part of her big day. After my weekend in Pittsburgh, I spent a few days in Marietta to see family before driving to Columbus. I crashed there for a few days at my friend Kelsey and Drew's house for the first time. It was so great hanging out with her and her family and watching the kids play soccer. We even threw a birthday party for her son Abe.
Birthday to you.
Then, Kelsey accompanied me as my +1 for our good friend Kayla's wedding. It was such a beautiful day. Wild peacocks, champagne, and watching the most beautiful bride marry the love of her life. Congrats, Kayla and Zach. I am so happy for you. Before heading back to LA, I got to see Emily's new house in Columbus and played golf with Carly and Betsy. Just a few weeks later in June, it was Kelsey's turn to visit me in LA. It was her and her family's first time here, and I was so excited to show them around. We went to the Santa Monica Pier and ate at my favorite burger joint. They visited my apartment, signed my wall, and they all got to meet Pluto. We blew up the air mattress and had a sleepover. The next day, we all went to Universal, and it was so cool to see the excitement in Kelsey's kids' eyes. Lots and lots of Mario. And unfortunately, Harry Potter World didn't go so well, since the ride broke down with us on it. I am so thankful for Kelsey, and it was so amazing to see her in my city. At the end of June, I had another round of visitors. Shane and Keith came for the Ethel Cain concert, and I have to say, it was one of the best concerts I've ever seen. We spent the rest of the weekend eating, which, what's new? In-N-Out and Levon Bakery. We saw a movie and Shane cut my hair. July consisted of swimming at our pool for the 4th, meeting a professional mermaid, Zach's birthday, and attempting to make chili. I also visited the famous Charmed house in honor of Shannon Doherty's passing. Charmed played a huge part in my passion for filmmaking and storytelling. The powers, the action, and most importantly, the character development still packs a punch to this day.
Power of 3.
Rest in peace, Shannon. Your legacy will live on. August was spent in the sun for Hannah's birthday, dressed up like Robin Williams for Demi's birthday, and for Malik's, a brunch at Delaterra. Sarah and Kezia had a housewarming party, and at the end of the month, Keith came back to LA to visit. We had a boys' day, chilled at the pool, and visited Allie at Cafe Istanbul. So good. September was significantly laid back. More beach days, self-care nights, and celebrating Ashley's birthday with bottomless mimosas and then bouncing at a trampoline park. What could go wrong? October kicked off with caramel macchiatos and walks around the neighborhood looking at Halloween decorations. Then, Kate and I threw a joint white trash-themed birthday party for ourselves in my apartment, where we all dressed up in white tees, boots, and bandanas. Unfortunately for me, though, I spent the majority of the party in bed due to a stomach bug. But it was still fun dressing up and seeing all my friends.
Yay!
Also, the last episode of Martinis and Your Money aired on October 25th. For those who don't know, I was brought on as a recurring monthly guest on the financial podcast Martinis and Your Money. On the last Friday of every month for the past year, a group of us would make cheap drinks and talk about money topics. For the last recording, the podcast host Shannon sent us 2 bottles of champagne, a card, and a nice gift as a thank you. The podcast was an amazing experience that I'll always look back fondly on, and I'm gonna miss our monthly meetups.
Oh dear. Sorry about that. Did you hear the pop at all?
Cheers.
In November, Allie and I had a charcuterie board picnic in remembrance and honor of her mother. There were also more birthdays. Kezia threw a costume-themed bash. We surprised Ty with a 50s themed party. And we celebrated Mariah with a pregame before going to one of her favorite bars. Also, I'm happy to say that I voted in the 2024 election. This year was a whirlwind, but thankfully in December, I got to breathe a little bit. I set up my tree and had a game night with Allie and Jordan. Unlike last year, my 2024 word of the year of inspiration didn't end up being on theme as much as I would have liked. But I was successful in branching out and working on projects I was really passionate about. Kelsey and I shot a video together for her thrifting business C-Bus Thrifty Finds. I made a few experimental shorts, took new headshots, and worked on super cool projects for American Eagle Outfitters, which still remains as one of my favorite companies I've edited for. While I was surrounded by amazing people and made good memories, my mental health has probably been the worst it's ever been, due to all of the negative things I shared and didn't share about what happened to me this year. Many tears were shed, but I also got to witness my resilience. This year, I laughed any chance I got.
Stop.
I reflected on the great times and loved everyone who loved me, because that's who's kept me together. While there might be a lot of wounds from this year that need to be healed, I'll figure it out. I always do. This video is dedicated to Max Rossi and Shirley Rao, two people I was so fortunate to have met. May you rest in paradise.